taking action for you. 7 Action News at 10 starts right now.
An historic and high-stakes hearing, all eyes on Capitol Hill today as the world watched 9 hours of emotional testimony from Dr. Christine Blasey Ford and Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh.
Tonight, breaking down what took place during that hearing and what comes next is our top story tonight. Good evening and thanks for joining us on this Thursday night on the heels of an emotional day for our country.
First, let's take a look at the main points that Dr. Ford made today. She says she's 100% sure that Kavanaugh was behind the attack that she says happened in 1982. She says it's absolutely not a case of mistaken identity. Blasey Ford says the accusations are not politically motivated. She testified that she can still hear Kavanaugh and his friend Mark Judge laughing with each other during the alleged assault.
On the other side, Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh defending himself against the accusations this afternoon. Kavanaugh calling the process a national disgrace. He says he demanded a hearing the day after the accusations to clear his name. The judge's statement accused Democrats of coordinating false accusations because Kavanaugh passed confirmation hearings. He says his good name, built over decades, and his family is ruined.
Now let's go inside that hearing for a deeper dive into what took place in that room.
Reporter Corey Rangel has the questions, the answers, and everything in between.
I am here today not because I want to be. I am terrified.
With her voice shaking, Christine Blasey Ford testified in front of senators about her accusations against Supreme Court nominee Brett Kavanaugh.
I believed he was going to rape me. I tried to yell for help. When I did, Brett put his hand over my mouth to stop me from yelling.
I'm here today to tell the truth. I've never sexually assaulted anyone.
Saying his family and his name have been permanently destroyed, Kavanaugh, visibly upset, defended himself against the allegation, which he says is absolutely false.
I have never done this to her or to anyone. That's not who I am. It is not who I was. I am innocent of this charge.
Before the hearing, Republicans revealed 2 different men came forward, claiming they may have been the man who assaulted Ford. Democrats questioned Ford about that today.
So what you are telling us is this could not be a case of mistaken identity?
Absolutely not.
Republicans on the committee, all men, hired a female sex crimes prosecutor to question Ford to challenge her credibility, including whether she came forward because of political motivations.
I am an independent person and I am no one's pawn.
Kavanaugh questioned the motives of Democrats on the committee.
But your coordinated and well-funded effort to destroy my good name and destroy my family will not drive me out.
With just the 2 of them testifying, senators on the committee will soon decide on who they believe more. In Washington, D.C., I'm Corey Rangel.
Thank you, Corey. And we wanted to dive into this even further as both sides of this testimony stand firm on their truths. What kind of signs can we look for to really know the truth, if any?
Tonight, 7 Action News reporter Allie Hoxie spoke with a body language expert. So, Allie, what did she have to say about today's testimony?
Well, I'm told body language gestures are like pieces to a puzzle, and tonight we looked at those puzzle pieces.
But the body is revealing.
Jeanette Gadati is a clinical psychologist and body language expert. Tonight we pulled clips from testimony from both Christine Ford and Brett Kavanaugh, including this one of Kavanaugh listening to Senator Lindsey Graham defending him. At first, he is tense.
But the chin and the mouth area and right here in this zone is a little tense.
To my Republican colleagues, if you vote no, you're legitimizing the most despicable thing I have seen in my time in politics.
But the more Senator Graham speaks defending Kavanaugh, he relaxes. And notice his hand on the table.
He's calm right there. You know, he's not doing this or he's not, fiddling.
When Ford is spoken to, she remains poised.
But notice how she's very, erect and what appears to be formal and stiff.
However, when she is speaking, Gadati saw signs of discomfort.
I wouldn't characterize him as not friendly. He was just nervous and not really wanting to speak with me.
That she's uncomfortable in that moment, unsure in that moment, and cannot convey positive personal power in that moment.
And when Kavanaugh proclaimed his innocence.
I wanted the hearing last week. I've said I wanted a hearing, and I'd said I was welcome anything. I'm innocent.
He's going towards the speaker, so he's passionate in this moment.
Now, these are just pieces of the puzzle. Gadani says there are ways to determine if someone is lying or telling the truth, but you just have to put all those puzzle pieces together. Allie Hoxie, 7 Action News.
Pretty interesting, Allie. Thank you. And as of now, Republicans are moving forward with a scheduled committee vote on Kavanaugh's nomination for tomorrow morning, which would then allow the full Senate to vote on whether Kavanaugh will be the next Supreme Court judge. Our coverage on all of this continues on our website, WXYZ.com. There you can find all of the testimony from today's hearing, as well as reaction, including Donald Trump Jr.'s Twitter attack. And of course, we'll bring you the full coverage of that vote tomorrow.
And at number 2 tonight, a Detroit doctor was sentenced to more than 11 years behind bars for a nearly $9 million health care fraud scheme. Millicent Traylor was sentenced earlier today. She was part of a scheme in fraudulent Medicare claims for home health care and other physician services. Authorities say the claims were not medically necessary, were not provided, or were provided by Traylor, who was not a licensed physician at the time.
Coming in at number 3 tonight, a federal judge is crying foul over Eastern Michigan University's plan to cut 2 women's sports teams. The judge issued a preliminary injunction to stop it from happening. He ruled the cuts would be in violation of Title IX. That's a civil rights law banning discrimination in educational programs receiving federal assistance. EMU planned to cut 4 sports programs to save nearly $2.5 billion. Well, the judge ordered a hearing next month to come up with a plan for reinstating women's tennis and softball.
Now to number 4, a live look over the Motor City. A chilly but overall pleasant day across southeast Michigan. Chief Meteorologist Dave Rexroth in the Weather Center tonight with the next chance for rain and how the weekend is looking so far, Dave.
Yeah, it's going to be about the cold overnight, but then the rain chances do get in here tomorrow just before the weekend officially gets started. Look at the numbers now. 50 in Lapeer and Port Huron, already 49 in Pontiac, Ann Arbor. Tankin, like last night, was 36 for a low. It's already 44 right now over there at the U of M campus. 50 in Monroe, 56 right now in Detroit. It will be another cool morning. However, in most cases, not quite as chilly as it was this morning, not as many 30s, but 40-ish in St. Clair. At Ann Arbor, number 44, that's where we sit now, so maybe closer to the upper 30s in that one isolated spot. In Detroit, about 50. We were 49 this morning. So there is a cold front pushing some shower chances toward us. That's late tomorrow, but all that does is reinforce the cold air for the weekend. We'll look at your weekend and let you know when you really need to put on the wool coming up in just a bit.
All right, thank you, Dave. Coming in at number 5, a big break in the labor dispute. That means work on road projects crucial to getting around Metro Detroit could start up as soon as tomorrow.
This is some good news. The
Yes.
Machine Operators Union and MITA, the association representing contractors, agreed to sit down with a mediator to resolve their differences. So workers statewide will be heading back to their job sites. More than 150 projects have been stalled by a lockout that started at the beginning of the month.
All sides came together, the operators, the contractors, they agreed with the governor that there's a moral obligation that we needed to get back to work.
And we're told they'll work long hours and weekends to make up for lost time. All this to make sure those projects get done before winter.
Well, if you have an issue with roads in your neighborhood or have a construction-related complaint, be sure to email us at gettingaround@WXYZ.com. At number 6 tonight, as the investigation into last week's drive-by shooting continues, the Farmington Public Safety Department reached out to the community. They held an informal meeting at the Longacre Elementary School tonight. The shooting happened in the 23,000 block of Wesley Street. No one was hurt, but many rounds were fired at a home. Officials say this meeting was designed to set the record straight about the safety of the city.
Having events like this where people can come together, they can talk, they can hear from people that are, running the investigation and running the city. I think that gives a sense of calm and helps to reassure.
Police have been out in extra patrols and have been making themselves more visible to assure people they don't need to be afraid.
At number 7, the Windsor-Detroit Bridge Authority is preparing for a big day tomorrow. Officials say they have a major announcement planned about the Gordie Howe International Bridge project. Right now, they're not giving out any information beforehand. We, of course, will bring you that announcement as soon as we find out ourselves.
And at number 8 tonight, a miracle in the NICU.
Meet Ariel Hopkins, born just 24 weeks, 3.5 months premature. Not only is she surviving, her family says she's thriving.
7 Action News reporter Brian Abel is live with this incredible story you'll only see on Action News. Brian.
Yeah, guys, it's hard to believe that little Ariel has made it this far. Considering when she was born, she weighed less than this pound of marshmallows, just 13 ounces. And her mom wants other potential parents of premature babies to know that there's hope.
No, don't cry.
Moments like this were far from certain for little Ariel Hopkins. With a due date of September 15th, complications brought Ariel to this world on May 31st. More than 3 months early.
My heart was broken. First thing is guilt. You, as a new mom, you know, you want to protect your children.
Don't you feel better now?
Assured there was nothing she could have done, Ariel's mom, Tia, made the decision to go forward with Ariel's fate a 50-50, whether she would make it or not.
It was months before I could hold her. It was painstaking. After birth, when she was born, I was not able to see her. She was sent right away to NICU. And seeing her with all the machines, the breathing tubes and everything down her throat.
At only 13 ounces, Tia says Ariel was one of the smallest babies on record. So small, St. John's had to improvise devices to keep certain tubes in place.
If you think of a Barbie doll, which is like 11.5 inches, she was not the height of a Barbie doll.
Surviving beyond her original due date, today, Ariel is thriving. No major complications, all organs growing properly.
She's one of the feistiest little girls in the unit. She's playful. She's doing very well. I'm so happy with the decision I made. A lot of it was due to a great doctor by the name of Dr. Pappas. She's wonderful. Yes, she's my little miracle. She's our little miracle.
A miracle indeed. Now get this, little Ariel, she now weighs 5 pounds, 8 ounces. She's more than 16 inches long, and there's some big changes ahead. She's been in the NICU for 116 days. Next week, she gets to come home. Reporting live in Detroit, Brian Abel, 7 Action News.
Oh, Brian, that just feels really good to see her doing well.
We wish her all the best for sure, and we're right there with her for her fight. Coming in at number 9 tonight, Election Day is rapidly approaching, and Perfecting Church Political Relations Department wanted to make sure people stay informed.
Yeah, so they held a special election forum to discuss the Michigan Supreme Court and November ballot initiatives at the church on East Nevada. Organizers say they want voters to know more about candidates and issues they're voting for.
Key political figures and candidates were also on hand for open discussions about all issues and positions on the ballot. Remember, folks, Election Day is November 6th. And rounding out the top 10, Sterling Heights unveiled their plans for the Lakeside Mall District. The city plans to change the traditional shopping center in favor of what they're calling a downtown-esque city center. There are 2 concepts. The first keeps the fully enclosed mall largely intact and surrounds it with residential, medical, and office space. The second demolishes the mall and replaces it with a redevelopment from the ground up.
Solving the straw problem. Coming up, a company on the brink of a major breakthrough. The new prototype that would solve the problem of plastic trash piling up in our landfills.
Plus, targeted by thieves days after a home explosion in Harper Woods, another incident involving a stolen furnace. Coming up next, what police are saying about a possible connection. Less than a week after a gas explosion rocked a Harper Woods neighborhood, police say the same thing could have happened at another home after some appliances were stolen.
Now investigators are trying to figure out if there's a connection between the two. 7 Action News reporter Anu Prakash shows us what happened.
It was a realtor who smelled the gas coming from this vacant home and noticed this broken window. Thankfully, that realtor did not go inside. Police say it could have been deadly.
A lot of people could have, possibly died or been injured.
Jeff Holland is talking about what could have happened at this vacant home right across the street from his mom's house on Woodside in Harper Woods. Police say someone broke in and stole the furnace, hot water heater, and dryer. They say the gas line from the dryer hadn't been shut off and there could have been an explosion. Around 11 o'clock Wednesday morning, it was a realtor who noticed something was wrong.
Once they smelled that odor of natural gas, they got themselves out of the area and they actually notified DTE. And then DTE, they were able to notify us as well.
It was just last week in Harper Woods when a gas leak caused an explosion at this house about 2 miles away on Lennon. 3 people were injured. Police say that gas leak started when someone tried to steal a furnace.
They're both similar in nature, but as of right now, we can't connect the two.
At the vacant home on Woodside, DTE recorded high levels of gas, but thankfully nobody was hurt. Holland says whoever's behind these thefts must stop.
It's definitely scary.
Police want to remind everyone that anytime you smell gas, get out of that area and call DTE or 911 right away. In Harper Woods, Anu Prakash, 7 Action News.
A Georgia company may be on the brink of solving the problem of plastic trash piling up in landfills. Stephen Croskrey, a scientific developer, is working on a biodegradable material that can be used to make straws. Straws are one of the most common items that end up as trash. So the new material, a plastic resin that's made with canola oil, that would make it marine biodegradable.
You're hearing a lot of news about, and so we thought, well, we have the resin, I think we can already do that, and so we did it.
And how's this for eco-friendly? This biodegradable straw, our natural food source for soil bacteria, so it will vanish after 2 or 3 months in the ground. The product could be available commercially by late next year.
All right, switching gears here now, folks. Yes, it is starting to feel like fall out there. I felt it early this morning after leaving my windows open.
Big baby.
I know. But we're going to continue with these temperatures, at least for a while.
It is going to stay cool. All right, I'll leave you alone this time.
Yeah.
He's from Canada. He was worried about the temperature. Show you what happened this morning. There are some seriously cool numbers. Today we got to 64 after we started at 49. That's the city of Detroit. But look at these low temperatures. This is why Allen was chilly. 36 in Ann Arbor, 38 in Lapeer, 37 in Port Huron. That's pretty darn cold, the coldest we have been in these places in a long, long time. I think we're headed to maybe a few of those upper 30s again tonight, however. Much warmer in Detroit at 49, lots of spots in the low 40s that we talked about. So there's a little bit more of a breeze. There's a few more clouds tonight. So right now we're already at 49 in Pontiac, Ann Arbor's 44, 49 in Lapeer, 56 in Detroit, 48 in Adrian at this hour. And by tomorrow morning, looks like, again, a few clouds here and there kind of sort of help out, if you want to call it that. Whoops, the morning low temperatures went away. They're mostly in the low to mid 40s. Detroit's around 50. Sorry about that. We'll kick the computer when we get a chance. Tomorrow's high temperatures, there we go. Mostly in the upper 60s. There might be 1 or 2 spots that get to 70. Best chance of that is going to be on the east side. However, you notice the clouds thickening up here. After 3 o'clock, there could be a little shower out. It's what's ahead of this cold front. You can see that increasing across now Traverse City, up here to Sault Ste. Marie. The rain's heaviest in that area. This is going to slowly move to the east, and some of this tries to catch up to us tomorrow in the afternoon. So not a real bright day, kind of like today actually. And the brightest probably early in the morning, and then shower chances after 3 o'clock. This is not big storminess, not to worry about that. Here's a look at some of the timing. Here's 3 o'clock tomorrow in the afternoon. That's the front, tip of the thumb, kind of Saginaw Valley back to Grand Rapids, maybe a few showers out ahead of it. Watch though as that goes through, there's not a lot of oomph to it. So again, this is not a big deal, but you don't want to get wet when it's that chilly. We'll be in the 60s again tomorrow. So jackets today for just the cool. And then tomorrow probably for the cool and the rain chances as well. I think anything that would come through would be done by 10 o'clock. But if you're out for the evening on a Friday, getting the weekend started, you might be a little bit soggy. Saturday is a good batch of sunshine, a couple clouds here and there, all across lower Michigan looks real nice. But then we get into Sunday, we get back to the rain chances. There's just a lot of reinforcement of this cool air. That tends to try and wring out the moisture as much as possible. So here, for example, 10 o'clock on Sunday in the morning, there could be some showers. These shorter days helping to get us cooler, also making the leaves change fast. We talked about this yesterday, but a new report today says there's already a widespread good color across the UP, low color in northern lower, and around around here, it's going to still take a little bit of time. Saturday, 40s and 50s for highs, maybe a little shower, not too much. A few clouds on Sunday, 40s and 50s for highs. That's all across the northern part of the state. Around here, down to 50 tonight in Detroit, 40s in the burbs. Then for tomorrow, 68, not a real bright day, maybe a little shower late in the day. Your 70 forecast says after the weekend, you get a chance to warm up.
All right, Dave. A Halloween nightmare for a local family. Thieves target their backyard and steal dozens of decorations.
Coming up next, the emotional connection to these items and why the family desperately wants them back.
And all new on 7 Action News at 11 over on Channel 7. $60,000 lost in an effort for a Livonia man to bring his fiancée and her family to the United States. Now he's sharing his story with 7 investigator Heather Catallo.
Who crushed his dream for happiness and his warning for others working to get loved ones to America in this immigration fake-out. It's all new tonight on 7 Action News at 11 over on Channel 7. Tonight, it's a Halloween horror for a local family. A crook sneaking into their yard, ripping off their Halloween decorations.
Yeah, it's more than just a holiday for this family. It's a time to remember the joy it brought their daughter, who has since passed away.
The 7 Action News reporter Simon Chowdhury is outside the family's home on Crescent Lake Road in Waterford with their story.
It took me a long time to get back into the Halloween spirit.
For Diana Rodriguez, Halloween has been a fun event for her sons and daughter, Elvia. Elvia died suddenly from stage 4 lung cancer in 2016 at the age of 40. Since then, the family has not put up decorations until this year.
Started all over again for my children and my grandkids. It's hard, you know, and we're just doing it one day at a time. So when this happened, it broke us more down.
Monday, Diana noticed at least 5 decorations stolen off her front yard. Many of these items have been in the family for a long time, some as old as 25 years.
And it was hard to lose those pieces.
Who steals Halloween decorations?
Exactly, I don't know.
Many of these decorations were handmade by Diana's husband.
For somebody to come here and just come in and take what is not theirs I can't understand that.
At first, Diana wanted to take down all the decorations, but instead decided to put them in the backyard. That way they can continue their special celebration, especially for Elvia's kids.
I think that's what my daughter would want me to do. Brings us happiness, you know, and we haven't had that for a while.
The bottom line is the Rodriguez family just want their stolen items back. If you know the crooks who did it, tell them to put it back, no questions asked. In Waterford, Simon Chowdhury, 7 Action News.
All right, Simon, thank you. Still ahead tonight, hotel holdup. This man taking aim at a clerk and customers. Her father's message to anyone who may know who this is.
Plus, a staggering number of inmates have died inside the Macomb County Jail, so we're digging for answers. Coming up next, the 7 investigators are holding the sheriff accountable.
Taking action for you. You're watching 7 Action News at 10.
Over the last several years, nearly 20 inmates have died inside Macomb County Jail. Family members and advocates say many of them didn't have to. Tonight, 7 investigator Ross Jones is sharing the stories of those who died and how the county sheriff is responding.
Ashley Hinneberg died from an overdose. Jennifer Myers was jailed for less than 2 weeks before dying from sepsis. Alvarez Moline sought medical attention 12 different times in jail, according to his family, before he died of a pulmonary embolism. They are 3 of the 19 inmates who have died in the Macomb County Jail since 2012, the most recent death happening just this month.
The jail commander on the day shift called me. Ryan had been involved in an altercation.
Debbie Hagerman's son Ryan was jailed for less than 24 hours before he was beaten to death. His cellmate, an 18-year-old man who suffered from mental illness, had already attacked one jail inmate before setting his sights on Hagerman. The attack went on for nearly 2 minutes before deputies stepped in. Sheriff Anthony Wickersham told us none of his staff violated jail policy.
Mr. Hagerman died.
Yes.
And no one was disciplined?
I'd have to look at the file. Again, I don't know exactly where everybody was coming from and what was going on.
Okay.
But yes, 2 minutes, seemed like a long time.
Does it mean because somebody's in jail, their life is any less valuable than somebody else's? That's what I think sometimes, that it's like, oh well.
Dan Koropkin is the ACLU of Michigan's Deputy Legal Director.
19 deaths should set off alarm bells. They should set off alarm bells in Macomb County. They should set it off at the state level. And if none of that works, they should set it off at the federal level.
Apart from the human cost, these deaths come at a cost to taxpayers. Just this year, Macomb County settled a wrongful death suit with the family of Bronislaw Kulpa, locked up in one of the jail's detox cells. When guards tried to move Kulpa to the jail's medical unit, he resisted, causing a team of deputies to restrain him, with one 300-pound deputy placing his knee in the center of the 63-year-old's back. Kulpa suffered a heart attack and later died. The county settled the wrongful death case for $1.6 million.
When you hear 19, it sounds like it's a lot. But when we look at 6 of them are suicides, 1 was the homicide. And again, 1 death in this jail is too much.
Don't those count too?
Yeah, they all count. Yes, they all count.
Sheriff Wickersham told us his deputies closely follow jail policies and procedures to keep inmates safe. But in neighboring Oakland County's jail, which houses hundreds more each day, officials saw less than half the number of deaths Macomb reported.
We do our best. We do our best with what we have, and we have policies, we have procedures.
I think he just needs to look at his track record. I mean, how can you just ignore all this that's happening? I mean, these are just human beings that are, you know, they did something wrong and they're in jail, but they're getting beat up, they're getting injured, they're losing their lives.
Sheriff Wickersham says that his office has taken steps recently to keep inmates safer, like installing body scanners in 2016 to detect whether inmates are smuggling in drugs or other contraband. And in wake of 3 suicides in a span of months last year, the jail temporarily ordered more frequent checks on inmates. Now, we should point out, while the county did settle the wrongful death lawsuit filed by Bronislaw Kulpa's family, their insurer ended up covering more than $1 million of that settlement. The Hagerman family did sue Macomb County over the death of their son Ryan. It settled for $600,000. I'm Ross Jones, 7 Action News.
A terrified family witnessed a holdup at a hotel in Roseville. Now police are trying to get the armed robber off the streets. Police say he struck this morning at the Microtel Inn on 13 Mile near 94. Officers say the man in these surveillance pictures walked in and announced the robbery. A woman and her 13-year-old daughter were in the lobby with the front desk clerk, who's 7 months pregnant, when the armed man came in. The girl was standing next to the robber until her mother made a request.
I asked him, I said, can my daughter come sit next to me? And he says, throw your phone. And he told her to go sit next to her mother.
The suspect got away with the money and thankfully no one was hurt. Anyone with information tonight is asked to call police.
A woman caught in a case of road rage recorded video of her scary encounter. She posted it all on her Facebook page, and now Roseville police are looking for that guy in that pickup there. Investigators say he was driving that pickup with a utility-type trailer. You see him get out of it after he cut the woman off at 12 Mile near Gratiot. The video shows him approaching her car and then blasting her with profanity and racial slurs. The woman says the man tried to open her car door, and then he left.
Wow, terrifying incidents there. Now turning back to your forecast, another look over the Motor City on this Thursday night, and wow, does it look good out there.
Looks blue.
Looks real blue. The weekend is almost here. Fall seems to be staying for, I guess, quite some time.
At least through the weekend here. Then we'll warm it up next week. Okay. But those blue temperatures, kind of the feel we had this morning. I'm going to show you tomorrow morning. I screwed that up before, but I'll get it to you here because we talked about it just briefly. 56 in Detroit, already 42 in Ann Arbor. That's the current temperature. Lapeer 49, Port Huron 50. Now in Ann Arbor, a little tiny bit of haziness, some fog starting to show up. 7 mile visibility there. Port Huron 2 mile visibility. I do not think fog will be a huge issue overnight. It's just because we're dropping the temps so fast in those areas that it's getting a little condensation, if you will. Just a touch of fog there. So here we go. Tomorrow morning, the low temperatures in Ann Arbor about 39, 44 in Howell, Rochester, Troy area around 43, 49 in Warren, and about 50 in Detroit. That'll be the warmest spot around. So it is chilly indeed, not quite as cold. Now this looks silly, but this is really the case. Tomorrow afternoon, our weather is because of this cold front. Saturday will be just ahead and around this cold front, and Sunday, Some showers with another cold front, so lots of action coming in. It's all going to just keep us chilled out. 50 tonight in Detroit, lots of spots in the 40s. Tomorrow 68, Saturday and Sunday low to mid 60s with showers around on Sunday.
All right, Dave, sounds good. Thank you. A body found in a North Carolina park is believed to be a 6-year-old boy with autism who went missing 6 days ago. Police say the body of Maddox Rich was found in a creek about a mile from where he was last seen with his dad and a friend. His father says Maddox took off running and ran out of sight. Officials say they're now waiting on the medical examiner's office to identify the remains.
Have you seen this 69-year-old woman? Take a close look at Andrea Gerwin. Police say she walked away from the Kadima Activity Center on 12 Mile Road in Southfield. They say she was walking with staff, but they eventually lost sight of her, and they believe she got on a bus. Anyone who may know where she is or has any information is asked to call police.
A new Michigan law that went into effect today requires drivers to be at least 3 feet away when passing bicycles on the road. The law also mandates teaching safe distance passing in drivers' training classes. The governor signed the bills in June. They're aimed at saving lives. Last year, more than 20 people were killed in crashes involving cars and bicycles.
Kevin Hart is back on the big screen as a high school dropout, hoping to earn his GED. But it won't be long before he meets his match. We have a preview of the new film, Night School, next.
Well, this close to October, many people, including myself, are starting to think about horror movies.
I did see The Nun.
Oh boy, but as Entertainment Tonight's Kevin Frazier can tell you, there's always room for another comedy.
In theaters this weekend, Kevin Hart's a high school dropout looking to earn his GED, but with Tiffany Haddish for a teacher, he's met his match in Night School.
Welcome to Night School. We need to cram 4 years of high school into a semester.
Study group, study group, study group.
Yes.
Tiffany Haddish is our night school teacher. Very
Educator.
lucky.
Teaching the conventional way just isn't going to get it done.
Why we in the ring?
What's the square root of 81?
What?
What's the square root of 81?
I don't know what you're talking about. Square root. What is it?
Kevin's forced to go back to school when he loses his job and realizes He should have graduated high school if he really wants to get ahead.
I could see you being a stockbroker like me.
Can't you give me a job?
I wish I could. My bosses won't let me hire a dropout.
Joe's Barbecue City is my job that I quit high school for. At the young age, I was presented the job where I could use my gift to gab. This is the grill for you. I call it the Obama. Como te llamas, me llamo the Pitbull.
Not only does Kevin star in Night School, he also co-wrote the script and serves as a producer. That makes him Tiffany's boss.
He reminds me when I'm like, why are you on the phone? He's like, well, I'm the boss and I'm taking care of business.
Very true statement.
And I say, well, all right, sir.
Very true statement.
All right, boss man.
I wanted to surround myself with people I were comfortable with and also put the people in positions that I know would win. And once again, it brings us back to Tiffany. Like, I think
I'm
Tiffany,
a winner.
she's a person
Winner, chicken dinner.
You ready to get started? I'm not playing with you.
What's the capital of Belgium?
Waffles? What? That is not the answer! Oh, get back here!
For Entertainment Tonight, I'm Kevin Frazier.
Oh, always good to see Kevin Hart in a comedy.
A
for
match
sure.
made on screen, for sure.
Well, still ahead, the Lions rushing attack took a big step last week. Hear why they're planning for it to be the new norm.
Our Brad Galley's up next with the latest in sports.
After 2 weeks of frustrations, the Lions broke through this past week with two aspects we had highlighted for months: the pass rush and the run game. Eli Harold sacked Tom Brady twice, and Kerryon Johnson broke the 100-yard mark. TJ Lang, who said today he's feeling good and did more in practice this afternoon, loves the progress of the run game as a whole.
You know, if you're a one-dimensional team and, you know, like we've had our struggles in the past of running the ball, I think teams, you know, just do their best to take away the passing game, take away the receivers and the quarterback, and try to force you to beat them one way. I think the more you can do, obviously, the more balanced you are. Teams start to have to, they start to respect that a little bit, and maybe you know, not lean on just defending the pass, just defending the run. They have to do a little bit of both. So that's something that obviously, like I said, did a good job of last week and hope to keep consistent.
Ziggy Ansah did not practice for the second straight day. He missed Sunday's game against New England. Reggie Jackson is back on the court in 5-on-5 full contact drills. That's big for the Pistons because a week ago, Reggie himself said he hadn't been on the court all summer. Working back from an ankle injury that kept him out of the Pistons lineup since December, the Pistons need their point guard to be healthy, and today is a big step.
Today was the first day. Reggie was back full speed. He did a good job. And, you know, so it's coming. He did everything. He
all
did
the 5-on-5 stuff
all the 5-on-5 stuff and everything. He did a good job. And, again, we're going to be smart and slow with him. But I love the way where he is right now.
Tiger scored the first 3 runs tonight in Minneapolis. The Twins fired back with 9 straight. Right now it's 9-3 Minnesota. Jake Butt's season is over. The former Michigan tight end tore his ACL again. It's the 3rd time in his career he has ended a season after tearing an ACL. Heartbreaking injury for a guy who was named the best tight end in college football his senior season in Ann Arbor. Before, of course, he tore his ACL in his final game in a Wolverines uniform. Denver drafted him, and he missed all of last year recovering from that ACL surgery, but really emerged early for the Broncos this year. 8 catches in the first 3 games. We wish him the best. Phil Mickelson and Tiger Woods have never won a Ryder Cup on foreign soil. They're back together on a team filled with youth and the generation of golfers that grew up watching them. It's not quite a win-one for the old guys, thought, considering how well Tiger has been playing lately. But Ricky Fowler all but implied they know where the greats are in their careers.
You look at Phil and Tiger, they're on their homeward stretch. We'll be nice to them. It's obviously special and amazing for the sport to have Tiger back playing well and healthy. Him winning last week. Both him and Phil have, been some of the most influential people in the game of golf. To have them a part of the team is, priceless in a way.
You play how you practice, right?
Yeah.
Phil Mickelson today in action, in practice. This is a layup. If he gets on and knocks it in for birdie, okay. You play how you practice. If you practice and you hit birdies, that's good. He's dunking it. One hopper and in. Phil Mickelson proving it, man. He's still got the goods. All right, who's waking up early? The Ryder Cup is one of the best events in sports. The fans get into it more than anything else associated with golf. I'm fired up. A young 16-year-old golfer named Robin Williams maybe has the biggest smile over in Paris. He played for Team Europe in last week's Junior Ryder Cup. He met Tiger Woods this week, and there's a good reason why we are showing you this interaction.
Christian. Hi, Robin. Robin, good seeing you. How you doing, Emma?
Hey, Robin, what's your middle name?
Tiger. Come on, dude. Is it really? Yep. Good for you. You're a big inspiration to me. Thank you very much.
Yeah, his middle name is Tiger. Williams played in last year's British Masters and told the Telegraph his dad named him after Woods. In that interaction there, he was on Team Europe. Tiger goes, well, then who are you rooting for this week when we're playing? And he hesitated and he goes, I understand you're conflicted. Here's the deal. You can root for Team Europe. Just hope that I go 5-0.
There you
go. Oh, man. I was waiting for the hug there.
Yeah, a little bit, right?
Okay.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
A little bonus footage tonight. Alan Campbell, noted hockey fan. Yes. We opened up some packs of Upper Deck Tim Hortons cards. So the video is blowing up the internet right now, WXYZ.
Oh, for sure, for sure. Tim Hortons hocky cards, too.
That's right.
We got a lot of good players, Dave. I'll show you. I got some doubles. I'll show you later.
Any Pokemon cards you can trade them on?
No.
Let me show you what's going on with the weather out there. It's going to be another chilly night. Right now, we're sitting at 56 in Detroit. He wouldn't even tell us what we got. 50 in Port Huron now, 48 in Marquette. But you see, there's some action out here. So some clouds and showers have a chance to keep us from getting real cold overnight. The showers don't come tonight, but they come tomorrow. Ahead of it, some of the clouds help us from getting real cold. It's not going to be real warm, but it'll get colder over the weekend. Here's Marquette, there's Rhinelander, Wisconsin, and that's the cold front out ahead of it. Some shower action about 3 o'clock or beyond tomorrow. The best chance to get it in here. It's not an absolute, but it is an opportunity. It wouldn't be real heavy. It looks like it'd be just a little shower action. Here's some of that timing now. A couple little showers perhaps out ahead of it, but 3 o'clock, the front's still up in the Saginaw Valley coming toward us. It moves through during the evening. I think by 10 o'clock, we've dried back out again. Saturday is a dry day, nice and bright. Sunday, we're back to the showers, so we go back and forth rain chance-wise, but it's all very, very chilly and getting cooler as well. That's 10 o'clock on Sunday morning. So tonight, 50, partly cloudy, still certainly cool. There'll be lots of temperatures in the low to mid 40s tomorrow. 68 for a high. Brightest time is early. Rain chances after 3 o'clock. It's not real heavy if we get it. The 10-day forecast, there's lots to talk about. A cool weekend with highs in the 60s. There's lots to talk about with the rain chances increasing as it gets warmer on Wednesday. But I want to point you to day 10. All right, now I actually modified this. One of our computer models, long range, says next Sunday morning in Detroit, it'll be 27. I put 30 on there just so you don't have a complete conniption fit, but that is some really cold air. If you think this weekend is chilly, it may get worse in a hurry. Back with more coming up.
This weekend, there are a number of different festivals and fun, including one that marks the end of baseball season.
7 Action News reporter Simon Chowdhury shows us what's happening around town. Take a look.
Even though the summer's over, there's one city that's trying to squeeze in one last festival.
Our last big hurrah until the winter comes.
The Made in Michigan Festival takes over downtown Allen Park this Friday and Saturday. It's a place to bring your wallet to buy things made right here in the Great Lakes State.
Michigan-shaped Adirondack chairs to toffee and jewelry. We have 12 food trucks serving the best food in Michigan.
This is the 3rd annual Made in Michigan Festival in Allen Park, and every year it's getting bigger and bigger.
This year we doubled the size of the site. We have so many vendors. We've gone from 34 vendors to 84 vendors this year.
Other events happening this weekend. The 16th annual Scarecrow Festival takes place in Trenton. This fall celebration will be held Saturday and Sunday. Say see you later to baseball as Comerica Bank hosts the Park Perks season finale at Comerica Park. It's a day of family fun that supports local youth groups. It's being held Saturday, 11 a.m. to 2 p.m. Tickets are $20 per person, $10 for children 12 and under. And support Special Olympic athletes as the state fall games are held Friday through Sunday. Nearly 1,600 athletes participating in events that take place in Ann Arbor, Canton, Chelsea, and Ypsilanti. And our own Anne-Marie LaFlame is emceeing the opening ceremony. And don't forget, Made in Michigan kicks off Friday afternoon.
This is our money. We need to put it right in our state. It always comes back to benefit us.
For more information about these events and other events going on this weekend, just go to our website at WXYZ.com. And if there's an event you think that I need to know about, let me know.